a lot of people actually, leaving the theater, they were, very emotional. So I'm sure for you, it was 10 times that filming it. So what was that like?
Um, yeah, I mean, there were emotional moments. It was also just moments where it just felt like work. It felt like I think the through line was just always feeling like there was a responsibility to tell their story the right way. Um, but there were some very emotional beats that were within that. But it's like any other thing, a lot of it was just servicing the story. So we didn't really get sort of wrapped up in it as a whole because we're doing it in segments and we're doing
Right.
it out of order. So you're just trying to, I guess, connect to whatever emotion you can find on that particular day.
What was the hardest scene for you to film?
Uh, that's a great question. Interestingly enough, I say the hardest scene to film was this scene where my wife and I, we had just had a baby, and the baby was. I don't know if you understand, like shooting with a baby. It's very difficult
I have
because
not shot with a baby yet.
they're only like allowed to be on for like 30 minutes. Then you gotta bring in the twin, and then like
Oh my God.
then the triplet, and then
Is
like
it
they go
always
to
a twin
sleep.
with the baby?
Yeah, usually.
Uh,
Usually there's always like a twin. But anyway, that was the craziest because it's such a low budget film and we're trying to make all of our days. And that stuff gets difficult. And then it's funny because it was such a long scene. And then at the end of the day, you watch it, it's like half a second. And there's no dialogue. It's like me
but then
handing
here
the
goes like
baby.
a full day of filming.
Yeah, that's right. So that was probably the most difficult scene.
Um,
I don't know if that's what you were looking for. It's
no,
not
no,
like the
look,
most like
yeah,
emotional.
that was unexpected. That's
Yeah.
why these interviews. Um, you are attached to so many different projects right now. So talk about how you pick a project to attach your name to.
It's just simple for me. Like if it resonates with me, if I like it, maybe like the hairs start to come up where you get goosebumps. If I like it, then I want to be a part of it. It doesn't have to have this grand message or this grand theme. It could be a sci-fi film. It could be like there's a film that I helped finance called Patty Cakes.
I love patty cakes.
Patty Cakes, which is just
Patty cakes is hilarious.
which is such a fun story, and then but also rooted in some really human truth and human aspects. But it can be all over the place. If I love the script, then likely I want to be involved.
What's the biggest takeaway you want for people to take when they see this film?
I don't I did the takeaway for me. I can tell you what happened for me. Initially it was all about Colin. I was really sort of my heart was sort of open to Colin and broken for everything that he went through. But in filming and in going through the process and then seeing it, I think what I came away with was the hope aspect and the friendship aspect and the love aspect, which doesn't get focused. It isn't really focused on a lot. I think that was the big takeaway for me, like the power of the human spirit, that someone could really put their life on the line to get their friend out of prison for 21 years. I mean, if you think back 21 years ago, I don't even know if you're 21 years old, but if you think back 21 years ago,
you.
what you were doing, and then think between then and now, spending all that time trying to get your friend out of prison, like it's a big deal and it's not to be underestimated.
This movie took me on an emotional roller coaster from start to finish. What was it like filming for you? I'm sure it was that 10 times more.
Yeah, it was difficult, man. It was a deep one to dive into. Somewhere embedded in my subconscious is the cell door that acted as my trailer door.
Yeah.
I just had a dream last night that I was being sort of thrown into a cell again. I keep having these little weird recurrent dreams. I thought it was done actually, but I think doing press for this is kind of
Rehashing it.
reawaken the beast a little bit. It was a trying experience. It was one of the most difficult things I'd ever have to dive into, but also one of the most rewarding. Having seen it come out and having hung around his family, I was just brought to very high levels of joy having done that.
Because you got to meet the the real life version of your character, was it an added pressure to make sure you do this role justice?
No. I think I wanted to do a great job in portraying it either way. I think I couldn't pay attention to how he might perceive what I was doing, or I wouldn't have been able to do it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been able to do it correctly if I was constantly thinking about how one might. So I just kind of blacked out and just went into it, you know. But afterwards, I was like,
wait, was he thinking about that?
Yeah.
Your roles have been so eclectic. What attracts you to a part? Like your whole career has been, very different from each role to role. So how do you pick a part?
I don't know. It's almost as if there's in people's minds a smorgasbord of roles, and then it's like, okay, let me get that one. Nah, I don't want that. It's definitely not like that. It's definitely not like that, especially for me. But a lot of things that have come my way have been things that I know that I don't want to be a part of. So I guess that's been a way for me to sort of know what I don't want to do rather than what I want to do. And so every now and then something will come across and it'll reveal itself to me. I'm like, oh, that's what I want to do. And I didn't even know the role existed. And I'm just like, oh, okay, here it is. I have to do this, And so that's kind of more the journey for me rather than picking it. I guess the roles kind of pick me.
Obviously, with the recent press, this film is even more relevant in what's going on today. Speak to why it's important for people to see the film.
I think it's important for them if it speaks to them. If this story speaks to you, but I think it can speak to many different kind of people who are going through a journey, attempting to just get through and survive and live. And if you feel like circumstances are surrounding you that you have no control over, that you would like to see better, this is the kind of film for you. Also, if you want to feel something, if you want to feel a real heartfelt story and be a part of a conversation, then Crown Heights is for you.
It's for you. Talk about working with the director and building your character and what you guys talked about.
Yeah, young Ruskin, man, he's a soldier, and I'm really happy that he had the guts to tell this story, and more happy that he had the guts to have me be the center of it. And I believed in him, and I still do, and I believe in his vision, and I think that he's taken this with real heart, and I appreciate that. I didn't once feel like he was making a movie for movie's sake, but that he wanted to tell a genuine story. And so I was happy about that. And I think people can see that watching the story. I hope so.